What's going on YouTube? My name is Mr. Crippled and today I'm going to be bringing you my top 3 easiest beginner mages or mid laners for Smite 2. Now before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you'd like to keep up with any future content, I will be leaving a link to my Discord in the description below. Now, again, same as the last video, this does not pertain to any particular tier list. However, this one's a little bit different since all 3 of these gods can actually perform very well and they're very easy to pick up. And so at number 3, obviously we're going to be talking about Neith. Neith is probably the most beginner-friendly god in the game, or one of the most beginner-friendly gods in the game. Her builds are very flexible, her aspect can make her actually be a hunter, her base kit actually lets her be a mage, and she has dual scaling, so you can actually get away with building a lot of magical damage, as long as building a lot of physical damage, depending on what you want. I think the only reason why I have her at number 3, however, is that even though she can hit very hard with her base kit, understanding when to use the ultimate, knowing how to properly place down the weaves for proper set play, and then knowing when to use the back foot properly, whether you're using aggressively or defensively, is going to be very important for her, albeit, again, it's still very simple. Same as the last video, I will be bringing a really easy mid lane build to build for her, and I'm going to go ahead and show you that now. Okay, so your generic build for this character is going to follow any generic mage build currently at the moment. So obviously you want to start with Archmage's Gem. I don't really recommend ever building Sands of Time. Sands of Time is good for a solo laner, honestly, because they get their cooldowns a lot faster. It complements the blue buff, but it just doesn't do enough damage as far as just clear. Conduit Gem is just way better in most scenarios, so you're probably going to be building this first anyway. After this, it's kind of up to you what you want to build first. I like getting my stacks on early, that way I don't have to worry about it later. But stacks you can build fairly quickly since you don't need to hit minions anymore. All you need to do is just do damage. So the more damage you have, the quicker you'll actually build Book of Thoth. So most people will actually tell you to build Spirit Death, so it does give you 90 intelligence, it does give you pen, and it gives you cooldown rate while also reducing your cooldowns whenever you get a kill or assist. On a character like Neith with a global ult, this can be very, very important. After this card, I recommend immediately going into stacks. You can go into utility, like going into Divine Ruin second if you absolutely need to. Most cases, you probably don't. So, honestly, these are probably going to be your first 2 cards built anyway. Up next, I actually do recommend building Soul Gem on her because her sustain is already pretty high and you're going to be spamming your abilities quite often, and getting the extra healing from Soul Gem is going to be nice, plus making any of your abilities hit harder after spamming as much as you do is going to be very beneficial for her. So I would recommend building Soul Gem here. At this point, I would recommend building Divine Ruin. Again, build this card as needed. If you need to have anti-heal because they have a lot of healing, Ra, Aphrodite, not Kabrakan, but Chaac, Thor, those kind of gods, getting Divine Ruin on early is going to be very important for you. So Soul Gem and Divine Ruin here are kind of interchangeable. At this point, I would recommend building an Ob Shard. If you want to be complete glass cannon, you can go Necronomicon in this build somewhere. If you're going to build this card, build it early, probably like first or second card, and then Book of Thoth. You can build at this point also, it kind of just depends. But I would recommend getting Necronomicon on this character if you just want to be a complete glass cannon. But in most cases, it's probably better to get Obsidian Shard. Most people would probably tell you to build Polynomicon on this character, because auto-canceling with this kind of a god who does have a form of CC that holds them still is pretty nice. I personally don't like building Poly, simply because for 2 reasons. One, sometimes I can't hit autos. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Sometimes I can't hit autos. And banking on a Polynomicon proc all the time is not always going to be beneficial for you. Plus, even though this does build into Book of Thoth, it doesn't give you any pen, so it's going to make it harder for you to kill tanks. So I would recommend building either a Rata Hootie or a Soul Reaver instead. Even though Soul Reaver doesn't give you any pen, this does affect their maximum health, and most tanks are going to be having at least 33 to 3,500 health, so being able to do damage to them and help them get off help them basically get off of you or the rest of your backline is going to be very important. So Soul Reaver is always going to be a really good combo here. This is a pretty generic build. This is her go-to mage build. There is a build I will be going over with her attack speed build as a hunter, However, for mid lane, this is going to be your go-to. At number 2, I'm going to be talking about Nuwa. This character saw a lot of, I want to say a lot of changes. She saw one significant change from Smite 1, and that being she gets cleave autos after casting her 3. This inherently, honestly, just helped her early game clear. Her biggest issue in Smite 1 was that she couldn't out-clear anybody at level 1 to 3, and she needed to use her entire kit to clear. Now you can just use your 3 and auto the wave down. You can use a combo of your 1 and your 3 to clear wave quickly. But this character is very simple. Global ult that you cannot miss, does a crap ton of damage. Good stun on her, an invis, fairly decent cooldowns, hits very hard, very simple to play. She's a pretty decent character to start off with if you want to learn anybody. Plus, you'll always have some kind of presence because you had this ultimate, and building cooldowns on her is going to make her very, very annoying, and you'll constantly get top damage. So, obviously, people who like big numbers are definitely going to like Nuwa. Same as before, I'm going to be giving you a pretty generic build. You'll notice that the mid lane builds are fairly the same. So, again, you're going to go Archmage's Gem. This just helps her beef her clear. You're going to want to go Spare Death, though. You're going to want to go Book of Thoth. You're going to want to go Divine Ruin. You're going to want to go Soul Gem if you want to. You're going to want to go Necronomicon if you want to. You want to go right up to Hootie. Basically, you want to pack on as much power as possible. However, for the sake of argument, I will be also showing you a fun build that you can do with her just to keep this a little bit interesting. So, you're going to go over to the cooldown rate section. You're still going to build Archmage's Gem. And you're going to go Chronos Pendant. You're going to go Spirit Deso. You're going to go Soul Gem. You're going to go Totem of Death. You're going to go World Stone. And then for your final card, just to beef up, you're going to want Doom Orb. Now, honestly, you want to put Doom Orb somewhere a little bit earlier here because this is going to be your primary source of damage since you're not going to be building stacks. However, this build right here is going to be fairly annoying because I'm going to show you right now. Made a mistake. Okay. So you're going to give it a call. Okay. And for sake of argument, let's go ahead and build up the stacks.
Better to keep alone.
Okay. As you can already see, your cooldowns are already fairly low. But why you want to be building this build is to spam your ultimate as much as possible. Don't worry about kill confirms. Just spam your ult as much as possible. It only does about 380, but this is a constant 380 that they had to deal with every 50 seconds. And then on top of that, he still hits extremely hard. And you'll be getting cooldown, nothing but cooldown items. Plus, Spirit Deso is going to help you cycle through your abilities quicker and cycle through your ultimate faster, making it to where you can get to your ult as quick as possible. And keep in mind, this is without your red buff. Okay? This is without you getting any pots. This is without you hitting any of the rest of your kit. They could basically die with just this combo here, and I'll go ahead and show you. Sneak up on them, 3, and they're dead. Unless they have Aegis, there's nothing they can do about it. And since this game only allows you to have 1 relic at a time, more than likely they're probably going to get beads. If they do get Aegis against you, they're trying to feed the support or anybody who has CC in their kit. So this is a good for fun build. Again, this isn't a very, super viable build, only because, you're going to be missing out on a lot of pen, which is why I had Totem of Death on here and Doom Orb. But this is a very fun build, so you can just keep spamming. And then finally, this surprises no one, Kukulkan is going to be in our #1 spot for the easiest mage to play in mid lane. Very simple goober clear. You just throw a tornado and you sit all the way back in your tower and just let this do all the damage for you. You can hit your 1 every once in a while if you really want to poke at the other person. You want to assert your dominance as not so scary of a mid laner, and I'm not a scary mage player. I will run up and do this, then run away if you really want to do that. And then this huge ult that is really good for killing people, but it's also one of the best get off me tools in the game since it does a whopping 800 damage, no cards. So this is definitely going to be my #1 pick for anybody who's trying to learn mid. This character is very simple, he's very easy, and plus the generic build that you want to build on him is going to benefit him the most since his passive gives him more power based off of his max MP. So with that in mind, obviously, Archmage's Gem, especially, is probably the best on Kukulkan because it gives mana and intelligence, while also helping you do more magic damage equal to your intelligence. And since you're going to gain more intelligence because you have mana, Archmage's Gem is just going to make him hit very, very hard. Unlike other gods, you're always going to want to go Book of Thoth on him, and you immediately want to go into Polynomicon. Yes, I know a lot of times you're not really going to want to auto-cancel, or I'm not really a big believer in Polynomicon, but Polynomicon is probably one of Kukulkan's best cards because, again, it feeds directly into his passive. And plus, as he does have this massive slow, hitting an auto right after is basically going to nuke them for their entire health bar. After this, you can go cooldowns, or you can go Divine Ruin. His cooldowns are fairly easy, and plus, since he's such a safe god, you don't really need to worry about putting yourself in harm's way or spamming as much as you need to, because his abilities hit hard enough, and he can do it at such a safe distance that having the cooldowns is not really relevant. So, honestly, Divine Ruin is probably going to be the best card you can build third for him. Up next, I would say go Spirit Deso, obviously. Soul Reaver is a definite must. And then if you really want the cooldowns, a last card that I do recommend is Cosmic Horror, because it does give you cooldowns, and if you have more than 275 intelligence from your cards, then you get an extra 10 cooldowns, while also gaining 200 mana. So this will help beef up his cooldowns, that'll help him spam a little bit more. And you basically get the picture. He'll just nuke somebody for their entire health bar just because he freaking feels like it. And he can do it at such a safe distance that most people will not be able to fight him early unless they're hyper aggressive. And hyper aggressiveness can be a problem because you just get hit for half your life bar because of an ult. So, these are the top 3 easiest gods. Again, this really doesn't surprise anybody. Kukulkan is the easiest god in the game to play. If you have any other gods that you think is easier than these 3, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and y'all take care.